Today I am going to explain 2019 American superhero horror film, Brightburn. Set in a fictional town called Brightburn, the movie follows Tori and Kyle Breyer in their home, when a meteor-like object suddenly falls from the sky. Then, we are shown a childhood video of a young boy. 10 years later, couples are shown to be living happily with their only son Brandon. Everything seems to be well and normal, as we can see them laughing and enjoying their life. Brandon was happy, curious, and intelligent young boy. Brandon was more intelligent and smarter than other children, and because of that, he often gets bullied in the school. But there is a girl, Caitlin, who always helps him. From his expression, we can clearly see that he's interested in her. That night Brandon seems to be having nightmare. The spaceship begins to transmit message, causing Brandon to sleepwalk to the barn and act strangely. There, he tries to open the cellar as if something inside there was calling him, but then his mom intervenes and takes him back to the house. From that moment, Brandon begins to experience supernatural activities. The next morning, when he tries to turn on the machine, he unintentionally tosses the lawn mower several meters away. Curious with the power, Brandon puts his hand in the spinning blade and immediately breaks it with his hand perfectly fine. The next day his father decides to take Brandon camping. While eating breakfast, Kyle finds his child acting strangely as Brandon was chewing the fork in his mouth. While cleaning Brandon's room, Tori suddenly discovers photos of nude models and photos of human internal organ. Tori simply thinks it as a pubescent curiosity, and let it go. But later, Kyle talks to his son about sex while hunting. Kyle explains that sex is not about human body and organs, but it is about a love and relationship between two people. Unfortunately, this conversation only inspires Brandon to stalk Caitlin at night. She is shocked to see him suddenly here. Her mother bursts inside, asking what's wrong as there was nobody there. At one night, after the family camping, Kyle spots Brandon staring at chickens and acting strangely. He then brings the boy to the house. Later, at night, Kyle and Tori find that all the chickens have been killed. Kyle suspects Brandon for all this, but Tori refuses to accept that and tells a wolf might have done this. Next day, while playing Trust Fall game at PE class, Brandon falls towards Caitlin, but she just moves to the side and let him fall to the ground. When coach tells her to help him, she refuses and tells everybody that he's a pervert. The coach forces her to help him, but he takes her hand and breaks it. Because of this act, he's suspended from school. Same night Brandon once again sleepwalks towards the barn by breaking lock. Tori rushes is there only to find him levitating in the air and saying, "Take the world." Brandon then falls down and cuts himself on the ship. She goes down and calms him down. She then reveals that he came down from the spaceship, and he's not their biological son. Upon knowing the truth, he yells that she lied to him and runs off outside while chanting the message and fires lasers from his eyes. Later, he visits Caitlin in her room. He tells her not to be scared and that he will take care of her mom as her mom forbid him from seeing Caitlin. Meanwhile, at the dinner, while closing the shop, she sees strange diagram on the window with his signature symbol. He then breaks the light above her, and she removes a piece of glass from her eye. Erica then runs towards the storage and locks herself inside. Brandon then uses his superpower and burns through the door with his laser vision and kills the helpless lady. The next day, in the dinner, police find a series of drawings on the window while investigating Erica's disappearance. Brandon's aunt, Meriden, who is also a counselor, tries to talk to Brandon after the incident at PE class, as she is requested to report the condition of the boy to the school and police. But instead, he is despondent in terms of explaining what's going on. Unhappy with what Marilee said earlier, Brandon visits his aunt later that night and threatens her not to talk to the sheriff. She refuses and tells him to go home, but he stands outside her window and later comes back in her house with his costume. Noah, Marilee's husband, finds Brandon hiding in the closet with his mask on. He's furious and tells that he is going to report everything to his parents. When he tried to force Brandon into his truck, he is thrown against the garage door. He then tries to run away in his truck, but Brandon lifts his up truck into the sky and drops it to the ground, which ends up killing his uncle. Brandon goes away after drawing his symbol with his uncle's blood. Returning home topless, Brandon tells his parents that he was bullied by his friends after his school. Somehow Brandon does not let his parents take the shirt. At midnight, Kyle and Tori are called to the hospital where Marilee is. She explains that Brandon came to visit beforehand. The next morning Tori announces Noah's death to Brandon, but he shows no reaction at all to the news. Seeing this, Kyle accuses son of hurting his uncle. Unhappy with his dad's reaction, Brandon violently throws his father up against the wall. Tori sends him away. Later, Kyle finds Brandon's shirt with blood on it, and takes it away without him noticing, and shows it to Tori, but she refuses to believe that Brandon is behind his uncle's death. Concerned about the future, he takes Brandon to hunting trip. In the wood, Kyle attempts to shoot Brandon in the head with rifle, but the bullet bounces off Brandon's head. He shows a startled look as he attempts to reload. Brandon then chases him away and kills him with heat vision. Meanwhile, the sheriff visits Tori to show what he has found related to Brandon. Tori refuses to believe that and tells the police to leave. Tori finds Brandon's notebook and notices the same symbol from the photo along with other disturbing drawing which indicates to take the world. And tries to call her husband, but Brandon picks the call and implies that he's coming for her. Hearing this, she immediately calls the police. But Brandon flies home and begins to destroy it. He also kills the sheriff, who came to help her, and tears apart the deputy cop afterward. Remembering only spaceship can hurt him, Tori makes her way to the barn, where she unexpectedly discovers Erica's dead body nailed to the wall. After ripping apart a fragment of the ship, she approaches her and expresses how much she loves him by hugging him. She tries to stab him. However, he catches her hand and flies into the sky several hundred feet into the air, and drops her down to her death, just as a plane approached. The next day, wreckage from the plane is shown as on the Tori and Kyle's farmhouse, killing everyone on the plane except Brandon, as the only survivor. During the end, we see Brandon destroying and killing millions of people as he is branded with a new name, Brightburn. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe and turn on notification for more videos like this.